I'd like to bring this meeting to order. The Town of Brunswick Planning Board for January 15th, 2026. If everybody please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, before we start our meeting, I'd just like to make a couple announcements. The Town of Brunswick Town Board passed a resolution on number 18 on January 5th, reappointing the chairman of the Zoning Board of Appeals, Ann Clementi, and reappointing myself as chairman of the town planning board. We also have a new addition to our planning board. I'd like to welcome John Monroe. Came on board. He has experience on the zoning board. So welcome aboard. And I'd like to just thank Andy Peterson for his service. He stepped off the board at the end of last year. So with that being said, our agenda tonight is as follows. Oh, I can't forget, welcome aboard officially now, Chris.
Thank you.
As our attorney. Thank you. Okay, our agenda tonight, number 1, Tranquility Bookshop, site plan and special use permit. Applicant seeks site plan approval and special use permit to modify an existing residential structure into a bookstore. A public hearing to commence at 7 p.m. Tranquility Bookshop LLC is the applicant. Number 2, Paramount Building Group, major subdivision. Applicant proposes a major subdivision on approximately 33-acre parcel of land, as well as construct a new road with a cul-de-sac and a water line extension on property located in the northeast corner of Spring Avenue Extension and Crick Road. Paramount Building Group of New York is the applicant. Number 3, Fisher, minor subdivision. Applicant seeks minor subdivision approval to subdivide an 82.17 acre parcel into 3 building new lots on property located at 842 Tamarack Road. Rebecca Fisher is the applicant. Number 4, Dujac, waiver of subdivision. Applicant seeks to subdivide a 9.68 acre lot into 2 lots of 3.68 acres and 6 acres on property located at 70 Town Office Road. Karen Dujac is the applicant. Number 5, Kyle Smith, site plan and special use permit. Applicant seeks site plan approval and a special use permit to complete construction of a 2-story building on property located at 1691 New York State Route 7. Kyle Smith is the applicant. There is also some new business to address after the agenda. Okay, as I stated, the first thing on our for our meeting is a public hearing for Tranquility Bookshop. And I will read the procedure for our public hearings. The purpose of the public hearing is to hear concerns, comments, and views of the general public regarding a particular proposal or application. All public hearings are electronically recorded, and a written record of the proceedings is generated. In most cases, this written record is included in the minutes of the planning board. This regular meeting, which is usually conducted immediately after the public hearing. The applicant will be required to respond to all concerns and comments made at the public hearing, and subsequently, the planning board will consider all concerns and comments when evaluating the application to ensure that the applicant has addressed all the issues in question. The public hearing will be conducted as follows. The notice of public hearing will be read to the planning board attorney, by the planning board attorney. Next, the applicant will give a brief presentation on the proposal and will provide any updates on the application. Upon completion of the applicant's remarks, the chairman of the planning board will recognize persons from the public, and these individuals will be allowed to speak and offer their concerns, comments, and views. Since the proceedings of the public hearing is electronically recorded, it is requested that all speakers step forward and use the microphone at the podium. All speakers will give their name and address for the record. So at this point, I am going to turn the floor over to the planning board attorney to read the public hearing announcement.
The following notice of public hearing was duly published in the official newspaper of the town, was posted to the town clerk bulletin board, and posted on the Town of Brunswick website as follows. Notice is hereby given that a public hearing will be held by the planning board of the Town of Brunswick at 7 p.m. on Thursday, January 15, 2026, at the Brunswick Town Hall, 336 Town Office Road, Brunswick, New York, 12180, to review the applications submitted by Tranquility Bookshop LLC for a special use permit and site plan approval in connection with the operation of a bookstore on property located at 902 Hoosick Road. Copies of the applications are available at the Brunswick Town Hall and are available for public inspection during regular business hours. All interested persons will be heard at the public hearing.
Thank you. At this time, I'll have the applicant come up and do a presentation. If you could address the public, obviously, with this portion of the public hearing, that would be appreciated.
My name is Jake Keesby. I'm a land surveyor. Developed a site plan for Tranquility Bookshop. The intent is to take the 2,100 square foot building and renovate it into a commercial, or rather a retail space bookshop. There'll be improvements to the parking as well as some minor improvements to the exterior of the structure. Located at 902 Hoosick Road. The intent is simply to have a quiet bookshop with people coming and going. The only difference from the last time I spoke here is we did take the handicap parking and move it to the front to allow more access and space for anybody using a handicap vehicle or having handicap needs. Other than that, the site plan should be the same as it was.
Okay. Andy, would you like to add something?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Russ. Andy Gilchrist, I'm here with my wife, Jean. We are the members of Tranquility Bookshop LLC. So our intent is to take the existing residence at 902 Hoosick Road and to convert it to retail use as a bookshop. As Jake went over, there is an existing curb cut off Hoosick Road for the structure that will be maintained. I'll start by saying, too, the property is located in the business light or BL zoning district, where retail is an allowable use. So the use is consistent with zoning. The intent, I think, along the BL zoning district was to take existing residential structures and put them into a lighter commercial use, which we think fits that intent of the zoning. The existing curb cut will be used. There is an existing driveway there with a turnaround. We're going to extend that and provide for the required parking on the lot to have adequate off-site parking off Hoosick. Now, the location of the parking was done intentionally. Immediately to our east is an existing commercial lot. That's the Realtor's office, was Lori Schindler, it's Howard Hanna now. To our west is residential, and it's still in residential use. So we've located the parking on, if you will, the commercial side of the lot. So it's closer to the commercial and away from residential. If anyone's pulling in and have headlights. They'll be shining in the direction of the commercial rather than residential. There's also some constraints on the lot. The septic tank is out in front, in the front lawn, and there's two beautiful existing mature trees that we want to maintain on the lot. So the parking has been put over here. The layout, as I said, provides for the adequate number of parking spaces. Now, this is still by and large residential along this portion of Hoosick Road. So to try to keep that, we're keeping the residential look of the structure. We'll also have some vegetation in the front here to, not to hide the parking, but provide a little bit of a vegetative buffer, particularly for across the street, which is still used for residential as well. Handicap parking is provided here. There'll be handicap access provided into the structure as well. Now, for certain parts of the year, there will need to be lighting in the parking. Our hours are really reduced. We're proposing just generally 10 to 4 most days, no Sundays, probably no Mondays, probably Tuesday through Saturday, maybe later on Friday nights to capture some of the traffic traveling east on Hoosick Road. For those portions of the year when we need light, there is a light proposed in the corner of the building to shine on the parking. There's no separate lamp posts or pole lights or anything proposed on that, nor should any be needed. We're hoping to have a new front porch. The front porch, if you're familiar with the site, that has some structural issues that needs to come down. We'll have a new front porch, a new walkway off the parking area. There'll be an outside patio in the back. We hope to be able to use the rear yard for some landscaped areas and people to sit and relax. We're hoping to have some fencing along the side. We'll coordinate with our neighbors as to final location of the fence. We've had the lot surveyed. There's a small portion of existing fence with our neighbor immediately to the west. We'll coordinate on final fence location there, but we hope to have use of the backyard as well. We are looking to renovate the existing 2-car garage. That will be used for a seating area so people can sit and relax and read, hopefully after they bought a few books. And that will be used as well. As Jake said, the whole structure is 2,100 square feet. So we're here for, you heard, site plan and special use permit. And the reason for that is under the Brunswick zoning law. If this site were 2,000 square feet or less, it would only require a site plan. This is a bit over, it's 2,100 square feet. It also requires a special use permit, so we filed those applications as well. As I said, we'll extend the fence area. Now, the handicap that you'll see on the site plan, there's a fence here with a gate proposed with a little walkway up the parking lot, and that's to provide some existing handicap accessibility to the patio area in the back as well. We're going to maintain those mature trees. There's also a wonderful mature tree right here on the lot that we'll be maintaining as well. One sign is proposed out front. We'll comply with the town sign law. And as we said, if you want to keep it quiet and generally 10 to 4, probably 10 to 6 or 7 on Fridays. And that's the proposal. Thank you.
Thank you, Andy. Okay, at this time, I will officially open up the public hearing to the public. Does anybody wish to come up and make any comments, have any questions for the applicant? Ma'am?
Hi, Susan Finn, 900 Hoosick Road. I'm on the other side. Mr. Gilchrist went over the information, most of what the information was on his site plan with me the other day. We talked about lighting, we talked about traffic, we talked about how extensive the renovations would be. I believe that this would be a good plan for this house. If it's not going to be residential, it seems to be something that's going to be quiet, and I believe it may contribute to the neighborhood in a good way. So as long as the Gilchrist keep me informed about what's going on, which he promised he would, I don't have any problems with this at the moment. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Jim?
Yeah, Jim Tashik, 387 Brunswick Road. It's a change of pace for me, but I have nothing but praise for this project. Okay. I think this is exactly the kind of business we want on Hoosick Street. It's a locally owned business in an existing structure with a minimum of disruption. I think sort of getting tired of the steady stream of gas stations, fast food, and gun shops. Having a bookstore here is going to raise the tone of the area. I really think that. Who knows? The Gilchrist may be nucleating a new cultural cluster in Bloomington. And I wish them good luck on this.
Thank you, Jim. Anyone else wish to come up and make any comments? Nope. Okay.
Hi, my name is Leanne Keogh. I live at 911 Hoosick Road, which is directly across the street at a diagonal from the intended property. I did have some questions that I was hoping to get answered. One was how many parking spaces are going to be going in total where the lawn currently is now?
There would be a total of 8 spaces plus the handicap spot.
And how long will the renovations, do you estimate them taking?
We hope everything done by late summer, Labor Day. Materials availability is the question mark, but that's our goal.
Okay. I ask this because I work from home quite often during the week, and especially in the warmer weather, I have a sun porch that I can see directly there. So I don't want to be interrupted on phone calls and that kind of thing for, when I'm working. Also, too, has the home already been purchased or so it has been purchased? Okay. I just wanted to voice a few concerns that I have. And the previous woman brought up the point of traffic. I've lived in my home for just over 9 years now, and I've seen a vast increase in traffic on Hoosick. We have added quite a bit of commercial along Hoosick further down, and also the gas stations further east of us that were put in. Often I have to wait a good 5 minutes to get out of my driveway when I'm leaving for work in the morning. And sometimes I have to wait to turn into the driveway as well. So I do have concerns about this increasing traffic right near my driveway where I'll need to turn. It does sound like it won't be too busy, which I'm happy to hear. But I do have the concern about traffic. Often Mary, my previous neighbor that lived in that property, would have garage sales quite frequently. And what would happen was people would park up on Wyman Street and also sometimes just pull onto the side of Hoosick right in front of the property with their hazards on, which is obviously dangerous. So it's just, I'm glad to hear that you've added parking because I was like 3 spaces is not going to cut it. My other just concern is that we've had a lot of commercialization spreading on both sides of my little strip of neighborhood. And I'm just afraid of more commercial taking over and driving out the residents. We already lost 5 residential homes earlier this summer that were demolished and is now turning into commercial. And I just saw the other day, another gas station is going up which I counted them the other day. We already have about 8 gas stations in a 3-mile radius, and now this will be a 9th. So, my fear is I'm a huge reader. I read every day, and I would love a bookshop. That is not my concern at all. What my concern is that commercial is taking over my neighborhood, and it's coming from both sides. And my current neighbor has already closed on a home outside of town, further out in the state, and she plans on selling her home and is also going to list it as commercial residential. And my fear is then I'll have diagonally residential right across from me as the Howard Hanna. That's residential, and then next door is going to be, or I'm sorry, commercial rather. So each one of those properties, and then if my neighbor that's directly next door to me, if that becomes commercial too, then I'm worrying about my current property value going down. I just want to speak on the behalf of the residents and make sure that we keep some of the residential areas residential. That's it.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening, good evening, everyone. William Joyce, 901 Hoosick and 13 Wyman Lane. Longtime resident. I know Mr. Gilchrist from past proceedings, and very interesting proposal. May I take a quick look at this real quick? Take a quick glimpse. Okay, I'm a career construction professional. Some site plans are I'm no stranger to. I haven't had a chance to review it. A few concerns from past experiences with things that have happened in the past regards life safety. One would be parking, as was previously mentioned. I feel that particular situation was a very unsafe scenario. Previous owner to 901 used to have the same kind of things going on. And the restriction to Wyman Lane could be vehicles on either side. And as far as I can tell, there is no parking provisions on that road, yet we do get intermittent parking. So my concern would be, has a traffic study coordination with the existing high traffic on this road? Has anything been done in that regard? What about the last minute? I just saw the bookstore. I turn in anything relative to the side streets. So I just want to make the biggest concern is life safety relative to vehicle movements and traffic around there. It doesn't sound like there is going to be a big impact, but I think I have an obligation to come here tonight and mention that concern. The other concern would be, what is the lighting plan? Is there anything on the proposal relative to lumens and dispersion? What are the impacts? So basically 2 things: lighting impact and traffic impact in the immediate area on Wyman and along Route 7, just given what I've seen in the past. That's the only concerns. It doesn't appear, based on the proposal, that would be. It sounds like it would be less, but I mention it anyways. I can't think of anything else at the time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else wish to come up and make any comments? Have any questions? Complaints? Praise? Okay. All right then. At this time, I think I'm going to make a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll make a motion.
Second. Okay, there's a second. Any further discussion? Is there any restrictions? Should it be extended for a written period of comment or anything like that? No? Okay. Then all those in favor of closing the public hearing?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Okay, now we're going to open up the regular meeting. And first on our agenda is the review of the previous minutes of meeting on December 18th. Has everybody had an opportunity to look at those? Those are now available online only for our discussion at our last meeting, so I hope everybody had an opportunity to take a look at them. Anyone have any corrections, additions? Okay. And I will ask
Make a
for,
motion to approve the minutes.
okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Okay, first on our agenda is the Tranquility Bookshop. Well, we, just before we get started here, we did receive two correspondence from the Rensselaer County Bureau of Economic Development and Planning. This is a notification of zoning review action. And in regards to the special use permit, it was determined that that the proposal does not have any major impact on county plans and that local consideration shall prevail. Regarding the site plan review, once again, it was determined that the proposal does not have any major impact on county plans and that local consideration shall prevail. However, they did make one comment, and that was that possibly we should consider a walkway from the business's main entrance to the walkway on Route 7, provided for pedestrian shoppers. So I just thought I'd pass that. That's probably going to be discussed shortly. And we've had the public hearing. You've heard comments. There's some that have to be addressed, I think. But I will open it up to discussion from the planning board. Is there anything further you wish to state before the planning board here, before we proceed with our comments?
Sure. We're prepared to respond to the comments this evening, or if the board prefers, we can certainly address them in writing, however the board wants to handle that. I will address the comments tonight, but if you would prefer also written confirmation, we'll do that as well.
Okay, well, let's see where the conversation goes regarding the application. Okay, does anybody have any initial comments? We obviously,
I would like to make a comment. I live across the street from this, up the hill on Army Hall. I've been there 40 years. Now, as far as the traffic on Lyman parking there, it's because the people previous had garage sales and they did not let anybody into the driveway. That's why they were parking. And again, I've been there 40 years, so I have seen all the comings and goings there. And I believe this is perfect for what Mr. and Mrs. Gilchrist are planning.
now there was some things that we discussed, Wayne, regarding the drawings.
Yeah, I went through the site plan regs and I did notice that the information, the zoning information is not on the plan. Typically, we put a table there that has, the zoning and the bulk requirements for that zone.
It is, that's a fair point. When the board is prepared to act on the site plan, the final site plan, we'll need to add that block that goes over the zoning. We've discussed the zoning district, BL, but should also have the area and bulk. I can tell you that based on my review, the structure is 100 years old. It was built in 1925, so it predates zoning, but it does comply with the current BL zoning district area and bulk regs for the structure. We're not proposing any additions to that structure. There'll be a patio in the backyard, but that would likewise meet the setbacks for that. But that will be added to the final site plan. And if I could, on one issue that may come up, it also deals with setbacks. you did raise earlier about the parking area as you go in the northerly direction and we'll call it the rear corner. It is closer than 7 feet from the side lot line. So in the site plan regulations, one of your review standards is the parking area should be no closer to the lot line than 7 feet. There's also a provision in that same section, though, that says, however, if that does inhibit the development of the site, the board has discretion to address that issue and modify it as long as it remains consistent with the intent of that zoning district. So here, the side lot line kind of comes in at an angle, given the way these lots were laid out 100 years ago. The proposed parking is well in excess of 7 feet down near Hoosick Road, because the lot line comes in at an angle. The last couple of parking spaces, and maybe it bleeds over into the third space, is less than 7 feet. What we asked the board to do is to consider, given the lot layout, given the proposal, given the adequate off-street parking being proposed, that the board has the jurisdiction to allow this limited area of the parking lot closer than 7 feet from the side lot line, noting also that the adjacent property is used for commercial purposes. And we did locate the parking in this side, as I said, because of the constraints on the western side of the lot. That's the area where the septic tank is located. There's a couple of beautiful existing mature trees that we want to maintain. So we asked the board's discretion in addressing this area of the parking lot that is closer than 7 feet from the side lot line, but I think you have it within your discretion to allow that if you think it's consistent with the overall development of the site. So we ask you to consider that.
I just have a technical question on that. Would that require a waiver by the zoning
Um,
on a setback?
Subject to guidance by your counsel, I think the answer is no.
So Mr. Gilchrist is correct. Go figure, he knows the site plan review regulation. So the one he's referring to does provide that generally parking shall not be permitted within 7 feet of the side or rear line, but there is a provision that says where a requirement restricts the effective development of the site, planning board may take appropriate action deemed necessary to modify these requirements. This is not a bulk or area limitation. This is coming from your site plan review regulation, so it's not something that would need to be modified by the zoning board. This board, by the zoning law, has the authority on its own to modify that 7-foot requirement.
Would that be done like in a motion to accept that or part of the approval process?
It's part of the approval process,
Okay.
so you might simply note and recognize that although a portion of the parking is within the 7 feet,
Okay,
the board is exercising its discretion under these circumstances. And again, to the extent we want to promote off-street parking for this site, and this waiver of the 7-foot rule allows more off-street parking than would otherwise be allowed if you follow the 7-foot, that's a good reason to explain why you're entertaining a modification for this application.
just out of curiosity, what is the closest point? 4 feet?
The
Five.
closest point is this corner here, and it's, I believe it's within 3 feet.
3 feet.
3 feet there.
Let's look at the driveway and the potential of having a sidewalk down there. The question I initially have is, I haven't really looked at it that close, so I may be wrong, but how wide is the driveway coming up? Can it allow 2 cars to pass?
Are you talking at the curb cut?
Right at the curb cut and then coming up into the parking lot. If you have one car coming down and one entering the site, is there room for 2 cars to? There is?
No, it's a little over 30 feet there, so you would have 2 15-foot lanes where traffic could go either way.
Okay. Would it be conceivable to have a striped walkway down to one side of the driveway?
So, I'm sorry. So first of all, recognizing the county's comments about an additional walkway, obviously, we're proposing a new walkway off the parking lot area leading up to the front entrance.
Right.
Having an additional walkway, as I said, there's some site constraints. The septic tank is in the front yard here. I would ask the board to consider not having a separate sidewalk in the area of our septic tank. I don't think that's a good idea to have that sidewalk over that. I suppose we could have striping here. Given the site, quite frankly, the in and out, if people are going to walk across on the sidewalk, it's not that much of a length just to walk up. Because think about it, cars will be coming in and parking on this side. Patrons are going to be leaving their car and walking through the parking lot, if you will, anyway, to get to that sidewalk coming in. There will be people walking through here, including coming from where they park their cars. We could stripe it, but I think in this case it's probably not necessary given the size of the proposed use and the size of the parking lot. But we'll take any guidance from the planning board on that.
Well, you know, I'm going to defer to my sidewalk expert, Mike Chorney.
I don't have a problem with that. It's just how to address it with, was it the state asking for that?
No, it's the county.
The county. How can we address it with the county if we don't strike? I would, personally, I would not want to see it strike. I think it's not going to look right. So can we call it, how can we call it a sidewalk? Or if they put it on the map, Wayne, and designate 3 feet or whatever.
Well, I don't think you have enough room for two-way traffic and a walkway. Scaling it off, it's about 18 feet.
Correct. Yeah, I concur with you.
So you don't want to direct pedestrians into a conflict
No.
with cars. So,
I don't think you got that much car traffic as well as
Well,
pedestrian traffic. There's no sidewalks when you get down further towards Sickaway.
Right.
On businesses that are much busier and do have foot traffic in and out.
I mean, there isn't a lot of pedestrian traffic there. There's like none.
No, my wife and I walk that.
There's
all the
probably an
time.
occasional,
Probably us and there's
there's
two
an
other
occasional
people
chorney that
That's it.
walks up and down Route
That's right.
7. But as far as other pedestrian generators, there really aren't up in that portion.
If it's a handful, you're lucky. If
But
it's a handful, you're
I
lucky.
don't recommend striping or directing pedestrians through there because you're kind of giving them a sense of safety when they should be alert to cars going in and out.
I mean, I sort of agree with Mike. I don't. It's, the only reason I'm bringing it up is because the county brought it up.
Understood.
Now, was that just a recommendation from the county?
No, it's just a statement right at the end of the
Just a comment.
comment, at the end of the,
You got your septic here.
yeah, right.
They have insurance.
It doesn't say shall, it says should,
There's a line.
which means that they,
So you
she
are-
just
you are
presented
covered.
that
Yeah.
as
It says it should be
something for
provided.
the board to consider.
I think with the restraints with the septic tank and then, we have the sign there. I don't see where they can put it.
I think more green space is better too,
I agree.
keeping that lawn.
All right. Well, we can just thank them for their comment. And
And
I-
if I could add it, it's good aspirational. If there was a lot of pedestrian use of the sidewalks but I concur with Mike. For the many times we've been down there already, we don't see any walkers, maybe an occasional runner, but we haven't seen anyone walk.
Well, we provided years ago, along where the bank is there, used to be Sefcu, we required a walkway up and everything. I doubt that that's ever been used.
What's that?
The one at the bank,
At Pioneer?
no, the one
Yeah, now-
across from Carbone's.
Isn't that some?
There's two women that
Yeah,
walk.
is it Broadview now? So there's a lot of situations where, in the past, this planning board has made it mandatory. You got to have a thing there.
I mean, the lawn is fairly level. If somebody wants to cut across the lawn, I mean, they can cut across the lawn.
Yeah.
It's not.
Of course, if you could have
There's no
overflow
barriers
parking
there
like
for
down
somebody to
at
do
Dunkin's
this.
and everybody's walking up to, I mean, there's
The
possibilities.
The driveway is also fairly level.
Yeah.
So as far as accessibility for those that may not be able to maneuver on uneven terrain, they'll be able to traverse through there.
I'll tell you, if somebody's walking the sidewalk, they're gonna walk up that drive.
There wasn't a walkway originally there, like a staircase down?
No.
All right. Okay, does anybody have, Wayne, do you have any other comments?
He asked about lighting.
What's that?
One gentleman asked about lighting, I think.
I see on the site plan, there's a lamp post adjacent to the sidewalk near the driveway. I assume that's to remain. And that's service from the residents or now proposed business.
Just one light.
I think the question is there any difference in the lighting that you have provided now that was on the existing residential? Is there anything increased?
Yes, there is a light shown on the corner of this building, a wall mount that will work with the building department to add some lighting for the parking area, but no additional lighting other than existing.
There's no provisions for any lighting on the sign.
So on the sign, there is no proposal to have the sign itself illuminated. What may be, and again, we'll work with the building department on this, with the sign regulations, is potentially simply a light shining from the ground level, shining up onto the sign itself, but not an illuminated or backlit sign.
Okay.
I'm gonna keep it simple.
On both sides, Andy? Both sides of the sign?
And I know this is a big issue with the zoning board, we have no intent on having that sign lit when the store is not open, so it'd be off and off.
Stole my question. The only question I was gonna bring from Tony.
Your experience on the zoning board, but that's, they'd be shut off when the store's
Okay.
open.
Andy, can you verify the hours of operation again?
So in general, they're not set, but in general, 10 to 4. Fridays, probably 10 to 6 or 7. And we're going to see how it goes.
So for 1 day a week, with the exception of 3 months in the winter when it's dark, from 4:30 or 5 o'clock to possibly 7,
That's right.
there would be a lighting issue.
That's right.
Very good.
Yeah, I mean, lighting is mostly for safety for whoever parks in the parking lot can see to get into the building. Is there any way you can provide some, a spec on what light you're gonna use? Yeah,
We can do that.
yeah. I mean, we don't want a light that shines across the Schindler property, but enough to capture the parking lot. And certainly you could spec a light that would do that.
There was one comment made about basically addressing any traffic studies that were done. Did that require a traffic study?
So if I can, on this, with the scale of the proposed use, it would be my non-technical opinion. A traffic study would not be warranted. There is the existing curb cut that we'll continue to use. We were very fortunate in that directly opposite the curb cut is the very end of the center turn lane. So even if someone did have to wait to turn in, like I've done on many mornings, there's adequate area in the center turn lane to still allow traffic to proceed west. And so I don't believe this will generate a significant traffic impact on this particular section of Hoosick Road.
And your hours of operation are sort of outside of the bulk of the traffic.
That's right. That's correct. Except for Friday, when of
Except for-
course,
Yeah, Friday,
there's a lot of easterly traffic we hope to
Saturday morning.
correct.
Well, there were a few comments made at the public hearing, and I know we addressed them here. I think for procedurally, I would be leaning towards possibly having a written response to all those.
Yeah, I'll put that together.
And I'd also like to see, some of the changes on the drawing as far as the comments that Wayne made. Is there anything else anybody else would require?
One more question. Do
Absolutely.
you have any intent to sell any food or beverage?
We're not
Coffee
selling,
or?
we're not selling beverage, complimentary tea and coffee.
Andy, that pendant sign, I believe there's I think it's, I don't have a full in front of me, it's a 15-foot setback requirement.
Yeah.
So
Now, it's a good
might
question.
show that.
I'll coordinate with you on that. Did Greg say from the road right of way, street or highway? Is that edge of pavement of the travel way or from the sidewalk? I don't know the answer to that yet, and I'll coordinate
Yeah,
with you
I
on that.
looked at that as well.
Yeah, I believe the intent is from the travel way so that
Doesn't block.
it doesn't block the line of sight for cars.
And regarding the sidewalk, if you could just kind of make a comment on,
I'll respond to that.
I don't have anything else. I think if we can get all that, we have a 3-week period, I think, before our next meeting. And should be able to get all that back to us in adequate time to be reviewed by Wayne and the board. Okay.
Thank you.
And we will put you on the agenda for our next meeting, which is February, I don't have a new calendar here.
12? No, 5th?
The 5th? Okay. And hopefully we can wrap this up.
Very good. Thank you.
Okay, thanks a lot. Okay, next on our agenda is the Paramount Building Group. Okay, at our last meeting, we were discussing your response to our draft part 2 and 3 of the seeker review. And since then, I believe we also charged Wayne with redrafting a new part 2, modifying certain things as far as mutually discussed items on that. I think at this time, I know you sent us, it was a limited text though, your Exhibit A and Exhibit B that you did in your office as far as a negative
Yes.
declaration and so forth and so on.
Yeah.
I think at this time, I'd like to have Wayne review his first, and then we'll add comments to your presentation there. Do we have that? Did we get that?
What's that?
Your draft?
You should.
It's on the back of that one on top, I think. No, the one on, you had your hand on top. Then if you go in deeper, is that it in there?
A little dysfunctional at times. You know? Yes, okay. Now, do you have a copy of this?
I did not give them a copy of that, but
Okay.
Do you have extras? You might. Thanks.
Now, I don't know if you want to go through the whole thing, or do you just want to go through the thing?
don't.
The ones that you,
I've done
just
it
the ones
twice,
that
I
you
think.
made changes to from
I'll
the,
touch only those portions where changes were made.
okay.
Okay.
Yes,
So what I did is I took the liberty based on discussions in the last meeting and the information provided by the applicant to revise the part 2 and part 3. There's also with it what I call an Exhibit A. That really is an attachment to the part 3. Instead of writing it all out on the form, I put an Exhibit A together, which is really an attachment to the part 3. Okay? And now, so I'm only going to go over those portions that I changed. And they are as follows. On item number 1 on page 1, part D and part E. Those two involve the excavation of the material from the site and the issue of the duration of the construction. Based on the information, additional information that the applicant provided, I switched those from moderate to large to no to small impact. Based on the excavation plan and the correspondence that was provided by the attorney. And I'll get into that just a little bit more when I discuss the Exhibit A. The other changes made were on page 5, item number 8, section D. Proposed action may irreversible convert ag land to non-ag uses, either more than 2.5 acres if located in an ag district, or more than 10 acres if not. There's been considerable discussion on that as well. And based on that discussion, I changed that from moderate to large to no to small. Those were the only changes to the part 2.
okay.
Based on how the part 2 was filled out, I went ahead and did a draft of the part 3, which is the evaluation of the magnitude and importance of the project impacts and determination of significance. In that part 3, it has a section on the reasons supporting the determination. And in that's where I itemized every item into that Exhibit A for discussion. Basically, the first part of the Exhibit A kind of, it identifies the sections of seeker that are applicable. It gives a description of the action, the location, a little bit on the seeker procedural background. It goes through who the involved agencies for the project with notices were sent, which included the town board, Town of Brunswick, Rensselaer County Health Department, Rensselaer County Highway Department, the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation. Additionally, courtesy copies of the notice of intent to establish lead agency were sent to the Town of Brunswick Water Department, Town of Brunswick Highway Department, Town of Brunswick Building Department, Rensselaer County Department of Economic Development and Planning, and the New York State Office of Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation. I did identify all the documents that were provided as part of the record for this review, which included the application, the full environmental assessment form, part 1, the stormwater pollution prevention plan. There was an excavation routing feasibility assessment and an acoustic analysis of the subdivision. If you look on page 2 at the bottom, we get into the reasons supporting the determination. The seeker regulations provide that for all type 1 and unlisted actions, lead agency making a determination of significance must, 1, consider the action as defined under seeker, review the EAF criteria contained in subdivision C of this section and other supporting information, thoroughly analyze the identified relevant areas of environmental concern to determine if the action may have a significant adverse impact on the environment, and set forth in its determination of significance in a written form contained a reasoned elaboration and providing reference to any supporting documentation. The seeker regulations further provide that determine whether a proposed type 1 or unlisted action may have a significant adverse impact on the environment. The impacts may be reasonably expected to result from the proposed action may be compared against this criteria in the subdivision of the environmental code, state code for seeker. And each criteria is discussed in more detail below. For the reasons discussed below, following the order of primary questions in the FEAF, and the planning board concludes the project will not result in a significant adverse environmental impact. Number 1, impact on land. The proposed action involves the excavation and removal of more than 1,000 tons of natural material. The project proposes to remove over 400,000 cubic yards of material on the site during grading and establish the infrastructure for the subdivision. The applicant has provided an excavation plan indicating that removal of excavated material will be completed in less than 2 years, and all excavation and grading will be accomplished in a logical sequence for establishment of the infrastructure, including the roadway and stormwater management facilities. I'm not going to read all of these. Basically, it's just a description of each of those items that were in the part 2. I can skip down to item number 8 on page 4 about the impact on ag resources. The project is located in an ag district. The project will result in physical alteration of more than 2.5 acres in an ag district. Proposed subdivision will irreversibly convert ag land to non-ag use. The property proposed for development has not been actively farmed in many years and as is limited to the presence of wetlands and steep slopes. And that was discussed in the last meeting.
Just a quick question. Would you know when the last time that was used for agriculture?
Talk to Farm Service Agency, which keeps track of where farmers grow what. And they went back 9 years. They had nothing but hayfield there.
Okay.
There's no corn or road project.
And I'm guessing that was all part of a larger farm complex many years ago?
I think the question I have is, and this may be a
That's been a
stupid
open-
question, does like hay fields constitute an agricultural use by
Well,
definition?
If you read the letter from Mr. Gilchrist, yes. When that was part of a bigger farm, I don't know. Recky's been there forever and he kicks himself for not buying it.
Well, there was a house there, remember?
Yes.
Yeah. So a portion of that was like a residential use.
You mean on the corner there?
Yep.
Neitzel's house? I think it was the
They
Neitzel
they
house.
took the house out, the well's still there. That's that corner that's white. That was a house in there.
But that's, is that a separate parcel or is that part of it? Separate parcel.
There was a farm further towards Troy on Spring Ave where they gravel bank, there was a gravel bank in there. Cleaning out my father's stuff, and I came on stuff from the 70s, and they had issues with the gravel bank, and then they had to restore it, and but they couldn't remember who had the farm there before the gravel bank. So there was across the road, there were people who were farmers, but it's been a long time since farming's been done in that area, in that.
Okay.
May I proceed?
You may proceed.
Just kind of going over some of the more highlighted ones. There's no impact on historic and archaeological resources, would often kind of hold up a project, but none on this case. Parcels never used for recreational purposes. There's no critical environmental areas. Transportation, there was a traffic impact study done. And the conclusion of that study indicated that there'd be some minor impacts during construction, but it didn't warrant going to an additional study due to the amount of traffic added to the intersections. And that upon completion of the subdivision, you're looking at 18 residential lots, which don't have a significant impact on adding traffic to the surrounding area. It is consistent with community plans. It is located in A40 zone, which is an allowed use. And the proposed action is consistent with its immediate surroundings, single-family residential subdivisions allowed. And there's no impact as to the community character caused by this development.
Okay.
So that was my draft.
So the final conclusion would be that this there would be a negative declaration.
Correct.
Okay.
I have a question. You're going to take out 400,000 yards of material?
I'm sorry.
You're going to take out 400,000 yards of material?
Yeah.
At least. How many truckloads is that?
We did have that noted in the traffic impact study.
I'm sorry?
We did have that noted in the traffic impact study.
Well, I
So we
don't
gave
have that
a
in front of me right now.
gave a different timeline, so whether it's completed in 1 year, a year and a half, or 2 years.
I think obviously it'd be interested in the 2-year period. I don't have it. I might have it.
I probably do have it.
Yeah, all that information was included in that traffic impact study. Included how many trucks per day,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And you also had some routes that would potentially be used for that?
I believe it was like 70 trucks a day, something like that.
Yeah, the 2-year frame was 34 trucks a day. So,
How many was that?
did he ask for the 2-year frame?
Yeah,
So about 22,000 truckloads?
no,
No,
no.
No?
no,
Yes.
no, a truck would hold anywhere between 18 to 22 yards. So it would be 34 trucks a day at the 2-year schedule. That's what you asked for, I believe, right? The 2-year schedule?
34 trucks a day?
Yeah, that's in the traffic impact study.
And what are the hours that this is going to happen?
General business hours. So it would be during, normal working hours.
So 7 to 5?
Yeah, 7 to 5.
Yeah, we put in the excavation plan, 7 to 5, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 on Saturdays.
Jeez, that's a lot of trucks.
Have you decided what route the trucks are going to be taking?
Do they have a destination?
No, there's not a destination settled yet, but most likely, when Creighton Manning reviewed and did traffic impact study, it seems like Spring Ave would be the general route, and probably getting the 355 as quickly as possible, and state routes from there.
So you're staying off of Creek Road at this point? 'Cause I brought that up initially back a few months ago.
Yeah, it seems like the most likely routes would be Spring Avenue.
Spring Avenue to
The
where?
South on Creek Road to Spring Ave.
Yes.
Yes. In the left end. Spring Ave.
All right,
They're gonna go out Spring Avenue to hit 355 to get over to 66.
okay. All right.
Basically, possibly to get to Valenti's. And then from Valenti's, the trucks go from there,
Yeah, yeah.
you know.
I think what would be more logical is that they could find a construction project that needs fill. But, yeah.
And you're going to clean this up every day, right?
Yeah, so the excavation plan that we had submitted outlines all of the site best
I
management
did
practices.
see,
From cleaning trucks to the way the excavation is going to occur, stormwater, dust control measures, all that.
thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody have any other questions? Okay, we're at a point now where we've been presented with a draft Part 2 and a draft Part 3.
But before you consider acting on anything, I just had one comment for Wayne. Your Exhibit A references two things in particular that were considered in preparing the recommendation. One was the traffic study. The other was the excavation plan.
Correct.
On page 2, you have a list of stuff, documents that was considered.
Yeah, they didn't make the list.
It's okay. There is a reference to an excavation routing feasibility assessment. Is that the traffic study?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's right.
so that's already there. If we could add the recently submitted excavation plan, just so it's
Yes.
clear.
Yeah, That's a good idea.
Yeah, just so it's clear that that was, obviously it's part of what was being considered, but just so it's listed on the document. That's all I was going to suggest.
That's a good point.
That was our only comment on the document. We just had that.
Okay, but since our last meeting, your office has also prepared a similar Part 2 and Part 3, basically mirroring this. Is that correct?
It was an Exhibit A to a Part 3. I wasn't sure if Wayne was going to prepare one, so it was just offered up in case one wasn't prepared. But in reviewing this, like you said, it pretty much exactly mirrors what Wayne had put together, so we're okay with.
And I didn't even look at yours.
So we're okay with just scrapping the one that we prepared and going with what Wayne had. It was just,
Well, the only reason I brought that up is that we would discuss yours. And if you prefer to move forward with yours, it would only delay this project. So, because these members would have to review that to make sure that they're comfortable with that.
That's right. And so
So you've,
understanding that, we're okay with
Okay.
going with what Wayne prepared. It's
Okay.
almost identical to what we prepared.
all right. Should we, can we proceed with a declaration at this point with the idea that we can now schedule a public hearing? That's where you're going with all this, obviously.
So just, again, this is my first time here. I know you guys have been to this rodeo before, but under the State Environmental Quality Review Act for a unlisted action, type one action, the planning board is required to issue a determination of significance. You have two options in that, technically three. You can do a neg deck, which is based on your conclusion after reviewing everything and Mr. Bonesteel's recommendations that the project will not result in any significant adverse environmental impacts. You can issue a positive declaration, which is based on your conclusion that the project may result in one or more significant impacts, which continues the SEQA review process with the preparation of environmental impact statement. Or theoretically, I'm not sure if it applies here, but you also have a conditioned negative declaration where you issue a neg deck that has some conditions intended to mitigate potentially significant impacts. If the board at this point, based on the meetings that have led up to this, based on the information provided, based on Mr. Bonesteel's recommendation, if you folks feel you are prepared and ready to make that determination, you can certainly do that now. And the way to do it would be to adopt a resolution issuing a neg deck for the reasons as set forth in the material prepared by Mr. Bonesteel. Any questions on that?
Any comments from the board on direction they want to go? Or is everybody comfortable proceeding along?
I'd like to make 2 comments on the Exhibit A, just as long as it's going to become, if it becomes part of the record. There's 2 corrections. One on the first page, B turn to line, and on page 3, impact the land, add the word B after will in the last line. If you read it.
You're going to have to say that again because I didn't hear what you said.
Sorry. On page 1, description of action, second line. After the word water, I believe the word should be line, L-I-N-E, extension,
You have Lou.
not lean.
Semantics, but I'm okay with that.
And then on page 3, impact on land.
Impact on what, Linda?
Land,
Land, okay?
second to last line. I believe as you read it, you inserted the word be after the word will. Grading will be accomplished.
You're correct, Linda.
And isn't there an addition that we just discussed about,
Yeah, the
Clarification on-
addition of the excavation plan as part of the record that was reviewed, making
Okay.
the determination.
so those 3 corrections to the Exhibit A? Does anybody have any other corrections or comments? Additional statements in the Exhibit A? Okay, then we could proceed along. It's,
The only other thing I have is that little tiny red text at the last page.
yeah, what
I'm
is
not
that?
sure how that got there, but I can take that off.
Okay. So to get the conversation going, I will make a negative declaration. Motion to accept the negative declaration. Do I have a second on that?
I'll second it.
And now we'll discuss that. Is it going to be a negative with conditions? And are there any conditions?
Well, we should hold off on doing a conditional declaration because it is a type 1. typically conditional declarations are for unlisted actions only.
Okay, then disregard what I just said.
And he's correct, that is correct.
Okay, I misinterpreted.
No, because I wasn't clear. So theoretically, a conditioned neg deck is one of the options, but as Mr. Bonesteel points out, they're not available on a type 1 action such as this. So if this was unlisted, you'd have all 3 options, but because it's type 1, you can either do a neg deck or a pos deck.
Okay, then on the motion that I just made, we're in the discussion period. I can always withdraw that motion if people feel that it ought to be a conditional. Hey,
So
is there any discussion on that?
just to be clear, there's only 2 options for the board. A motion to adopt a negative declaration, period, or a motion to adopt a positive declaration. As I recall, your motion was for a negative declaration, so
Okay.
that's fine as it was presented.
Okay, it stands with those corrections made to Exhibit A. Is there any further discussion
I
on
have one
that?
question though, so I know I'm new. Does looks like you got a large amount of holding area for runoff, correct? Wayne, does that have to be in place prior to any excavation? Will that change any stormwater plan?
It's in their
That's not
excavation plan as being in the early phases. What's going to happen is that will become a temporary sediment basin during all the excavation. And then when the site is all prepared and the infrastructure's in, then that would convert to the permanent pond.
Thank
And the SWIP has been reviewed. Yeah.
Anybody else? Okay, and then we'll vote on the negative declaration. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, you're all set there. Now, as far as the public hearing, are we sufficiently got enough information for the public? Is everything complete enough at this point? Wayne?
Yes.
Okay.
Were we, just before we go too far, were we supposed to do a roll call on that?
No.
Okay.
No.
It's not that I'm aware of.
Just in the past, I mean, Andy usually prepared a resolution with roll call, vote for something of this magnitude, but
I don't know for seeker.
no?
And I prepared a simple resolution if the board wants to consider it for the night deck to memorialize it.
Our attorney doesn't think we need it.
He's fine.
Well, usually what you're talking about is with the approval of the eventual, subdivision, where they'll do a full resolution listing all the, the actions that have been taken and so forth and so on.
So again, from my perspective, I'm not aware of a roll call being required for this action that you just took on the seeker for the neg deck. I can't speak to the practice that you guys have had up to this point, but I'm not aware of any requirement for that. Your discussion of the basis for seeker is not only going to be reflected in your discussions that are going to be in the minutes, it's also documented by the Exhibit A that you're relying on and incorporating by reference. So I think, as far as I'm concerned, that's been properly documented. Your rationale for your vote is going to be apparent of the record. I don't know that you need to do anything more than you already have.
We're all set there. There's adequate now information available to the public to proceed with the public hearing.
Yeah, they haven't made any changes to the plans or the plat.
Okay.
All the reports and everything are with the building department for public access.
Is this part of the part 3 correct, that it could be signed tonight? Or would you prefer to put the whole package together? There was no changes to that.
We didn't,
You
no.
made changes to Exhibit A.
There are changes to Exhibit A, which are actually part of the Part 3,
Yes.
but it would be that separate attachment.
Would you
That's
prefer
gonna
that the
get-
thing be complete?
So why don't we just have a package for
Why
the
don't we,
chair?
yeah,
with-
why don't we make the corrections, get
Put
a
it-
full
put it
package together with the Part 1, the Part 2, and the Part 3, and I'll get that over to the building department, and you can
I can sign.
sign it then.
Okay. All right. So, as far as a public hearing is concerned, there is, I believe, no, I'm not even going to go there. It would be at the meeting, the second meeting in February, that we would have the public hearing, just to give adequate.
You only got, you don't have enough days? February?
Do we just need
No, I'm
10 days?
Yes, I'm sorry. Sorry.
Our practice has been, and this is where it gets a little, I'm going to have to, ask the board on this one. Usually, if there's 2 weeks between meetings, we do not schedule a public hearing because we don't feel at times, because of the posting in the newspapers and so forth and so on, that there's enough time, 10 days prior to the public hearing. So we always have been scheduling it, and that was a change in the zoning laws in 2017. So now what we're going to do is we're going to schedule the public hearings for the second meeting, which gives us adequate time, 4 weeks, sometimes 5 weeks, to get all the information mailed out to the, surrounding residents and everything like that. Give everybody an opportunity to review the materials at the town office. There is a situation here where there's actually 3 weeks between this meeting and actually the first meeting in February. So technically, we could schedule the public hearing and have adequate time for 10 days prior to have all that information posted.
We would very, very much appreciate the public hearings be on the first meeting in February if the board would be amenable to that.
I'll refer to you, Chris. Is that a viable option as far as,
Yeah, so I understand the practicalities of having to make sure the required notice is published sufficiently in advance and how that can be challenging if you only have 2 weeks between the meetings. In this case, you have 3, it's 21 days. So February 5th, which is the next regular meeting, I don't see an issue. No
Okay.
issue getting the public hearing notice published in time, Andy is saying. So at the board's discretion, I see no reason why you couldn't do the public hearing on the 5th.
okay,
Is it the fourth?
5th?
I mean,
Okay, then you'll be on,
correct, the 5th.
yes. Okay, you'll be on for the 5th. Public hearing will be at 7 o'clock and followed by our regular meeting, and you'll be first on the agenda. So we move right from the public hearing into discussion. All right? Do you have any other questions for us?
Only, I don't know what the common practice is, my first application for the board, but when do you be taking care of the filing of the seeker negative declaration circulation?
So because it's a neg deck on a type 1, there are some circulation and filing requirements. We can go over that together.
Sure. Yeah, and if you need anything from us, obviously just reach out. Okay.
All right. Anybody have any other questions for the applicant? Wayne, you're all set?
I'm all set.
Okay. And I think we're done.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we will see you on the 5th. Okay. Okay, next on our agenda is the Fisher minor subdivision. I didn't even see you there. Where'd you come from?
I've been here the whole time. Behind the easel. Good evening. name's Mark Danskin. I'm here representing the Fisher, or Rebecca Fisher, excuse me. To pick up where we left off last time, I added the turnouts for the fire apparatus a minimum of 500 feet. I added the turnaround fire apparatus at the end. We submitted to the attorney the roadway agreement. We see today saying that it looked good. But I don't see him here. After I got the agreement a day or two ago, I added just a reduced copy of the note that Andrew wanted to make sure it was on the map, tying the agreement to the subdivision. And it just says, see private road maintenance agreement to be simultaneously recorded in the Rensselaer County Clerk's office with the filing of this subdivision map and be considered part of this subdivision plan. That'll tie the agreement to the subdivision plan as requested. And all the other, that's about it. Kind of wait for a review.
Okay, just for the record, Chris, you reviewed the private road agreement and concur that it was fine. So where do we go from here? What we got going?
Make these numbers smaller.
Okay, that's it. Okay. Now, is that on this big one that I got? That note?
The roadway agreement note,
Okay. All right. Is there any other things that have to be put on here?
not that I'm aware of. The maps are now complete.
Okay,
Well, it's complete for now.
as complete as complete
As
can be.
complete as can be for now.
I don't really have any issues with plat. What I would like a little additional time is to review the stormwater regs. Because you were gonna have a road that goes for 3/4 of a mile, and you'll have some disturbance. I gotta check the stormwater regs to see what the rules are on the disturbance for this type of subdivision. It could be, and I think I'm leaning this way, but I'm not, I gotta check. That you could do a modified SWIP with a erosion sediment control plan. But I'll confirm that. And the board does have the discretion to require that, even if it isn't required by the regs, but
Okay,
I mean, you're basically gonna build this driveway based on this detail that you provided. That all counts as disturbance.
600, yeah.
There are other rules for non-realty subdivisions, so I gotta kind of work all those details out to figure out what's required under those regs.
Very good.
okay. Minor subdivision does require a public hearing. So we're going to try to work towards that. I don't know if there's anything else. Anybody have any questions there? There's some discussion going on.
I see.
The new board member might have, need some time to review the plan.
Okay. Does anybody have any other questions for Mark? Now, you're here for another application, aren't you? Tonight?
I did it. I'm not really here for it. I could stay if you want.
Okay, which one would that be?
Kyle Smith.
You might want to stay there if you want, don't mind. All right, then, we will schedule you for, would our next meeting on the 3rd be fine?
Yeah, we'll certainly have all that figured out. Well, before that.
Is that my public hearing or is that just the next one?
That's the next meeting. If everything goes well at this one, then you're going to be scheduled for the first one in March for your
Okay.
public hearing. That's just a tentative timeline. Okay?
Okay. So I just need to show up next February 5th.
Yeah.
Find out what we're gonna do, how we're gonna
Yeah, we
proceed.
won't schedule a public hearing unless you're here.
Well, I understand. I have nothing to prepare. You're gonna prepare, right?
Well, you could send Paul.
Paul was supposed to be here tonight. I don't know where he is.
Okay.
We good?
We're good for this one, yep.
Thank you.
Okay, next on our agenda is Dujac. And this is somehow there was something that I heard that there's actually, okay, nothing, disregard that. Go ahead.
Good evening again, Jacob Keesley, Land Surveyor. I'm here to represent the Dujacs and waiver subdivision application. The Dujacs would like to subdivide off one lot from the 9.68 parcel shown on my survey map. Their lot that they're retaining is vacant. It'll be 3.68 acres. They intend to sell the house on the remaining 6 acres. This was previously subdivided more than 7 years ago. We did a 3-lot subdivision. I have a copy of that if anybody would like to see it. But that was past the 7-year rule.
Mhm.
Adequate road frontage, adequate acreage.
The only question I had, and was brought up at our last meeting, was this little shed on the 3.6 foot.
Not a permanent structure. It's a roll-off shed. They were using it as a run-in for horses, but there's no livestock or anything left on the property. They would, if they do decide to build there, their intent would be to take that shed down.
Okay. I would assume that's still
So the issue is, right now, as the 9.68 parcel, you have the house and you have the shed as potentially an accessory structure, which is fine. When you subdivide, you're not going to have the shed floating by itself.
Yeah.
So the question is whether or not, whether it's a temporary roll-off or not, is it still considered an accessory structure, which would not be allowed without a principal structure on the parcel? So that's the concern, right? So these folks can't
It
subdivide
either has to
something.
be removed, moved, or
Right.
taken down or something.
Even if it's not a permanent structure, it has no foundation or anything like that underneath it.
What would it take to just draw it over onto the 6 acres?
A tractor, I would assume.
Yeah.
I'm not a professional.
I think that the thing here is it's considered a
Is it over,
accessory.
is it over 80 square feet?
Is it over what?
80 square feet.
I would have to double check. I think it's under 100 though.
80 square feet is the limitation.
Okay.
For
I'll have to
what?
double-
Accessory structure. Yes.
So
It's
anything-
larger than 80 square feet.
That's
Or
8
has
by
a
10.
concrete, or has a concrete base.
Yeah, it definitely does not have a foundation underneath it, but I'll have to check on the square footage. It's actually a dirt floor inside the shed.
Well, in the past, what we have done is we've approved the waiver with the condition that that structure be removed or taken down within a certain period of time based on if a new house was being constructed or so.
Okay.
So we could set something like that up as a condition of approval, that the structure be removed within 1 year
Okay.
if there was not a house being put on the property.
First step probably is to confirm the square footage.
Yeah, I would ask that if we do decide on a condition like that, that we would confirm the square footage before it had to be moved. If it was under the 80 square feet, then it wouldn't have to be moved.
Correct.
I'm okay with that.
Deemed an accessory structure.
Did you say there's a third floor?
Yeah,
Not,
it's a run-in shed on a skid unit that they were using for horses and goats.
Or if you pull a building permit within a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Dujacks currently don't intend to build, but they want to retain it in case they ever do want to come back to the area.
Okay, does anybody have any other questions? We can move forward on this. It's the desire of the board. I hear no objections to that, so I'll entertain a seeker determination. Does anybody want to make a NADEC on this?
Make a negative declaration.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Is there any questions on that motion? Any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, now on the approval of the waiver, do I have a motion for that?
Motion to approve it.
And we're gonna have one condition, and we're gonna check on the shed.
So you could frame it as motion to approve with the condition that any accessory structure on the 3.68 acre parcel, which is equal to or exceeds 80 square feet, either be removed or an application for building permit submitted.
Within a year.
With-
Typically, they give them a year to remove that structure.
So what would have to happen within that year? Either gets removed or
Apply for permanent
apply for a permit.
Building permit.
primary structure.
Okay,
Everybody understand the condition that's been attached to the approval?
all right, there's that condition. Did somebody make that motion?
Mike,
Mike, are you okay with that condition?
Yes.
Okay. Then, is there any further discussion on that? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? You're all set.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Now we're going to Kyle Smith.
Hey, guys.
How are you?
Good.
Been around a while here, haven't you? All right, what's up here?
It's been a while since I was before you guys, I think it's November last time. In late November.
Yep,
So I am applying to finish construction on top of an existing foundation for a small, simple office space. And there's the maps, I have extras if you need them.
okay, the last one I have here, and Mark, you can, is 1111 is the last added.
Last one is a one-story frame
Oh, yeah.
with a carport maybe.
Yep. It was initially, at the beginning of tonight's meeting, you'd said two-story. This is a one-story building.
Okay, yep,
Mention the carport.
yes.
Yeah, you got the latest.
okay. Now, according to this, you got proposed parking, is that right up against the line that would be the right of way? Is the, Don't get comfortable on me here.
That's the existing.
That's the property line? Is that the actual, where the right of way, the end of the right of way on the?
Yes.
Okay. So you're actually, now does that 14.6, is that, that's on an existing foundation?
Yes.
Is there some type of clarification, Wayne, that has to be as far as a setback, front setback?
7 feet for department, right? Even in the front.
Where's the DOT right away?
The heavy line where it says IRF, it's got the dot on the corner, it's got the bearing, it's got the distance.
That's the property line.
That's the right of way line.
So it doesn't meet the setback requirements if it's only 14.
What, parking?
With the parking?
Over the building.
No, we've been to
ZBA handled all that.
That was one of the last actions we did in the zoning board.
Oh. Did you say that? Did I miss that part?
I didn't say a thing.
You didn't say that. I don't recall hearing that.
There was a building there that got hit by a car. Yeah. They took the building down and put the foundation.
So you got a variance.
Yeah.
Grass building.
How many, what did you go before the zoning board for now? Just that setback?
Front setback, this is a corner lot, so our setbacks were too close on both sides. Also, building size is too small and the lot size is too small. Something like that? Yeah, everything,
Geez, you had everything going.
the whole
for you,
thing,
didn't you?
the whole, yeah.
And the, what was the action of the zoning
Say
board?
Scott Noodle started the process.
Right.
A couple of years ago, got sick. Laid for a while and then Kyle came in, picked it up. And
We
brought
took
it
care of
back
it.
to zoning.
We took care of the zone. There should be record.
Yeah.
Department for the zoning on that.
Okay,
Yeah, parking's supposed to be at least 7 feet from the property line.
Yeah, it's, similar to, we've got a septic tank in the back. Can't be driving over that. And you've got another property line, on the backside. It's just a very funny.
That permanent easement, that's to DOT?
Yeah, there's a culvert that runs underneath.
Are they okay with having parking over top of their permanent easement?
We do it now.
Yeah.
It's
been there for years.
It
I mean, they're okay with,
goes right through the middle of it.
goes under Route 7 too.
they parked there temporarily
Yeah,
as they're going
if they needed
by.
to do something, I'd make sure there was no cars there, I guess.
You can't block an easement, but I don't think parked cars is considered blocking.
Yeah, you can't put permanent structures there.
Right.
You're not paving it, right?
Now, the action of the zoning board, was that based on the fact that there was a existing foundation?
Yes.
Okay.
Give special consideration.
All right.
Are you gonna go in from Deep Kill? No. That is, it's. The only access will be from Route 7? The only access will be from Route 7.
There is one little hiccup that Bill Bradley brought up today. He is the MS4 coordinator, needed to review this. And that is a Class A stream. And he's within 100 foot of that stream. So Bill's opinion is that the 24 by 24 structure is basically grandfathered in because it was there before. However, the addition of the shed off the back, 10-foot, carport would need DEC approval because he's encroaching into the 100-foot buffer.
Yeah,
We'll take it off.
I think that the wetlands should be delineated so we know where they are.
Really?
I've worked with DEC before on the property next to
We're
it.
not changing anything except adding more parking spaces. the foundation's there, there was a building there.
And
We're
the
not-
parking spaces.
We're not changing the driveway, we're not changing the parking, the grass is gonna be the grass, the wetlands down by the creek is gonna be the wetlands down by the creek. We're not disturbing any of that. We're not disturbing anything, really.
I
We're not
believe,
even- we're
I
not
believe
even-
you. I
We're
believe-
not even
Are you
delineating our parking because it's gravel. We're just showing that there's room to have it. I think that's a little tough. Wetlands.
The only
Well,
thing,
the
the
trouble
problem
is,
with the
this
wetlands is the
this is a
carport,
site
right?
plan.
Pardon me?
That's the problem.
The only problem with the wetlands is the carport, right?
If it's within 100 feet of that stream, potentially that's a problem.
So if they take the
The sewage
carport off,
system is, you see that where it says,
Septic tank?
sand filter sewage bed?
Yeah.
That's the sewage system. That's all approved, got it approved for the basket case, subsurface sand filter, so there's no wetlands there. It's grass.
As I said, the only thing that Bill had in here is that
Well, it's all in the buffer zone.
Okay.
I just think there's a few things on this site that are problematic, regardless of whether or not there was an existing foundation there.
Okay. And what are you proposing here?
What are the things?
Well, I need a
that are
chance to look at this for one thing.
Okay.
I'm just throwing stuff out there right now, but
Yeah, I think we're going to have to take a look at this a little bit closer. Make sure we have all the,
We're not changing anything.
I didn't say you were.
Okay.
yeah,
If it's good today, it's good.
Relax, Mark.
Okay.
But we, like, we just put Kyle on the agenda based on, where he was beforehand, that he didn't have to go on to new business or anything like that. So we got him here. We're trying, this is the first time we've seen this stuff. And we thought it'd be nice to have,
Yeah,
Kyle
this
come
is his
here,
first
tell us
semester.
exactly what he's doing, what happened, what changes were made to the drawing, and then give us an opportunity to take a look at it.
Very good. My bad.
That's okay.
Apologize.
All right. So why don't we'll have Wayne take another look at this, just to finalize stuff up with Bill Bradley too. I don't know whether he's got to put something in writing on that or what. I mean, this is a site plan. It's going to have a public hearing. I think everything should be properly documented, don't you think?
Yep.
All right.
I have emails from Bill.
So should I be reaching out to DEC? You have a contact there.
why don't you wait until, take a look at this.
Okay. How will I know? Next meeting? That's what I'll find out.
If not before.
Okay. Let me call me.
I'd like to work through the building department, but
Sure, that's fine. Whatever, I don't know. I was just saying. All right.
Can you give us come back on the 5th and we'll,
Should be an exciting one.
yeah, sure it will be. I mean, you got all this stuff in front of you.
I saw that. Yeah, it'll be,
maybe we can move them up in the agenda a little bit.
well,
we got to have a public hearing.
Well, we got a public hearing.
So don't get here right away.
I'll stay home with the kids.
We'll text you when it's done.
Yeah, you can watch the nightly news and stuff like that. Okay, we'll put you on for the 5th. And you can check a few days before where you are on the agenda.
Yep.
And judge by when you want to be here.
Okay.
How's that sound? Okay, then we'll see you on the 5th.
Do you have a-
Thank you.
Thank you.
Could I just ask a quick question? Is there an application for site plan review somewhere? Wendy?
Yeah.
They submitted that earlier, previously.
Yep, it's there.
I'll find it. I'll find it somewhere.
Okay,
You do have it.
thanks for staying, Mark. Mark, thanks for staying. Appreciate it. Okay, that concludes our regular agenda. We have one business item under new business. And this is a waiver of subdivision. The applicant is Robert Monacup. How are you tonight? And why don't you come up here and give us a little idea of what you want to do.
You've been very patient.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah. We'll be fine here, I think. Let's just take a look at this. This is the first time we've looked at it, so bear with us, okay? Now, your land surveyor is not here tonight, that's correct? Your land surveyor is not here tonight?
No, he's in Florida.
Okay. All right. Did you have an opportunity to take a look at this?
I did, and I talked to Mr. Monaco, I did talk to a surveyor, there's more information that needs to be put on the map. As far as the proposed location of the house, proposed driveway, proposed well and septic. Surveyor's gonna add that, he just couldn't be here tonight, he's tied up. Assured me he'd have that information for the next meeting, so we're basically just.
I live on Miller Lane. I have 19 acres, a little over 19 acres. I'm trying to divide one lot out of it.
Okay.
Between Thurl Road and Mill Road, North Lake Avenue.
So the remaining acres is 16.15, and the new lot is the 1.18. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yep. Okay. And is that size lot proper for the zoning, Kevin?
Yes.
Okay.
Where's his house?
They have frontage.
Yep.
Where is this?
Is there a house remaining on the 16 point, on the
Yeah,
larger
right
parcel?
where your finger is.
Okay.
He's gonna put that on.
Farrell Road. Trying to picture where this is. Where's Miller?
I'm sorry?
Where is Miller?
Yeah, it's right off of Farrell
Bob, your
Road.
house is right after that lot into the
Okay.
big area, right?
It's between North Lake.
Your house is over
Okay.
here, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Where the town beach
Trying to-
is.
Where's,
It's up,
This is the town beach.
ah,
yeah, right by
okay.
the dam.
And that's,
Russ, his house
North
is,
Oil Mill Hill.
Okay,
Russ, his house is on the big parcel.
Right.
okay. Is that something we should have on there also, Wayne?
Yeah, he's, I don't know whether he's gonna put that on there.
And septic system, and there's a well?
Yep.
Okay. All right.
There is well and septic here.
Yes.
I don't think there has to be any site distances on this.
No, it's
one.
got good safety.
Okay. I think we're all set for tonight. We can, we'll wait until Kevin consults with the land surveyor and we get everything on this that we need. And then we'll, hopefully, I think, can you do that in 3 weeks?
Yes.
Okay. And we'll have them do it so we can have it for our meeting, on our next meeting. And then you'll be officially on our agenda. See, now you're not on the agenda. We can't take any action. Okay. We can't take any action on this right now because you're under new business. And now that we've reviewed it and you're here, now we can put it on our official agenda.
So you want me to hear my surveyor contact? Correct?
Yes.
Okay? So we're going to put you on the schedule for our next meeting on the 5th of February. Hopefully, your land surveyor will have all the information we need. You don't need a lot of information on here. If this is a waiver, we're pretty, liberal on taking a look at these divisions of just one lot. So there's nothing to worry about there, but we do need more information. Okay? Okay, thank you. Okay. I don't have any other new business. Is there any old business?
Yeah, I just have one thing. The storage facility on Carroll's Grove Road, there's not supposed to be any outside storage there. And they've got two trailers parked right along the fence on Route 7 side, and they got big billboards on them with the company's name.
Okay. I believe that would probably be a planning or a building department issue.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Okay. Let's review our agenda for next. On the, once again, this is a 3-week period between now and then. First of all, on the agenda is going to be the Paramount Building Group, because they're going to have the public hearing at 7 o'clock. And then followed by the Tranquility Bookshop, Andy's bookshop. And then Fisher, which is the minor subdivision. Kyle Smith, which is the site plan. And then Monica, who we just heard from, he's going to be number 5. As far as other items on potentially that could be on there, we have heard nothing from National Grid. They want to be on for the 5th? Really? Okay. And they are going to be number 6. They're going to be around a while.
AT&T did finally get back to us about the 2 towers.
Yeah?
They would like to be on the 5th as well, for special use permit. You guys?
AT&T, that's, they have 2 amendments to the site plan.
Talmadge Road and Bald Mountain, modifying those 2 cell towers. And then Mavis Discount Tire would also like to be on.
Well, we better bring our sleeping bags here, I'll
As new
tell you.
business?
Where are they going?
They're going to the old dentist.
Old Dennis?
Is there any way that maybe 1 or 2 of those could be pushed off to the second meeting in February?
Entirely up to you.
So you could certainly ask. So catching up on some of these open project threads, my understanding is AT&T was kind of pokey in getting back.
So, yes, the woman was on maternity leave and it kind of got
Sure.
dropped by her office. And,
But for the sake of 2 weeks and understanding we have potentially a pretty full agenda, their option is either to be on the 5th, but probably plan on not standing up until 9 or 9:30, or if they're willing to wait a couple of weeks, they could go on to the 19th agenda. So I don't know if you want to, if there's an idea that we can ask if they would rather be on the.
So is that a request or a demand? I guess is my question.
I mean, it's up to the board. I mean, at a certain point, you need to keep your agendas manageable, and I don't know at
Well,
what point you guys decide you have too much on for a particular.
This could be a long public hearing too.
Yeah.
It could be a very long public hearing. And I think Andy's bookshop will go pretty quick. I think that's just a matter of cleaning up a few things. Fisher, that's that minor subdivision. I don't. Zujack. It's not like you got a bunch of waivers there. It's major league stuff. What was that at number 8? What was that last one?
Mavis?
Mavis
Ma-
discussed her.
Mavis, we'll put on for the 18th.
19th?
19th? It's the 19th? Okay. Just tell them we just got, they'll
Is
be
that the
here.
only one you want to move to 19?
You could tell.
I'd hate to be here anytime, after National Grid. I mean, National Grid's gonna chew in some time. So I would suggest that we put AT&T on for the 19th. If they scream and yell, just explain to them. Or I'll explain to them. Or I'll have Don do it.
Well, there's some, those are the ones we discussed the deadlines, so we have to look at that a little bit as well.
Which is why my suggestion was to ask if they would be willing to put it off for 2 weeks.
Oh, they got the,
AT&T, if you recall, it's a telecommunication law. We have 30 days to review their submissions and then another 30 days to approve their submission, for a total of 60 days.
yeah, but they haven't officially submitted anything before this board.
Well, they have officially. Remember, I introduced them to you in the first one. They didn't show up for that, but they did submit all the proper documents. However, we requested more additional information, which we just received recently. So I'm not, I can review with Chris what the start of that clock is. I guess we'd have to look at that a little bit closer, but there is some deadlines for these telecommunication upgrades by law. I'll start by asking them if they would be willing, to-
Yeah, and part of it is out of consideration for them, because if, they come on the 5th and they're number 7 on our agenda, they're going to be cooling their heels for quite a while. So it may just be preferable for them to be higher in the lineup for the 19th. And they'd be fine with that. And if they are fine with that, then, I think if we send them some confirmation.
Yeah, I mean, you run it by them.
Yeah.
But we all agree that
I'll try to get, in discount, Mavis will definitely move to the 19th, and I'll try to persuade AT&T to move to the 19th.
Okay. All right. And we haven't heard anything from CVE. Okay, Silas. That's all I got. Does anybody have any questions on the potential agenda?
Just review it again.
Okay, we're going to review it one more time. Number 1 is Paramount Building. That includes a public hearing at 7 o'clock. Number 2 is Tranquility Bookshop. Number 3 is Fisher. This is the minor subdivision with a long driveway. Number 4 is Kyle Smith. He was a gentleman here with the building on Route 7. Number 5 is Mr. Monacup. He was just up here under new business. And, we might want to shift him into up in the batting order, maybe behind Tranquility, maybe make him 3rd.
Yeah, would probably be advisable, yeah.
And I just,
Why not?
and then number 6 is National Grid. Potentially, there's 2 other items, AT&T and Mavis. We're going to try and push on to the 19th. So potentially, we could have number 7 as AT&T. Okay. I find it hard to believe that we can stack up these when we meet twice a month. That's what,
And we only have one meeting this month.
yeah, but
We're
that's
busy.
true.
We're busy. Our office is very busy. Russ.
Okay. Does anybody have anything else? Then I will make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, everyone.